On April 3, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump's newly imposed 25% tariff on imported vehicles sparked immediate consequences for Canada's auto sector, prompting Stellantis to announce a 2-week shutdown of its Windsor assembly plant, starting April 7. The plant, a cornerstone of Ontario's automotive industry, directly employs approximately 4,500 workers, who assemble vehicles such as the Chrysler Pacifica, Grand Caravan, and Dodge Charger Daytona.
Yesterday marked the latest in President Trump's unprecedented series of U.S. tariffs that are designed to reshape the international trading system. The ambition of these measures is enormous. The effects on the global economy will be monumental. We received confirmation that the latest reciprocal tariffs will not be imposed on Canada. At the same time, President Trump confirmed that the tariffs announced last week against our auto industry will come in, and indeed have come into effect today. So while it's progress that further tariffs were not imposed on Canada yesterday, the president's actions will reverberate here in Canada and across the world. Three different sets of U.S. tariffs remain in place and will continue to pose significant threats to Canadian workers and Canadian businesses. And while they have been imposed under different premises, some things are consistent. They are all unjustified, unwarranted, and in our judgment, misguided. And we are already seeing the consequences. Just last evening, workers from Unifor Local 444, with whom I met last week, learned that their auto assembly plant in Windsor will be shutting down for at least the next 2 weeks. That's 3,600 workers who are now out of work, not by their choice. Workers who now worry how they're going to put food on the table and pay their bills. I and my government stand in solidarity with those workers in Windsor and all those workers hurt by President Trump's tariffs. And that's why we committed from the very start that all, I repeat, all of our tariff proceeds will go to protect workers affected by the tariffs.
The closure came as a direct response to the overnight implementation of the tariff, which became effective at 12:01 a.m. April 3. The shutdown places not just thousands of jobs at risk, but also has a ripple effect throughout the regional economy. Unifor Local 444 President James Stewart voiced deep concern. These tariffs are unjustified. There's a real sense of betrayal. Each job loss doesn't just hurt one person, it affects families and entire communities. For every worker laid off, 8 others in the local economy are affected. Prime Minister Mark Carney, addressing the nation that same day, confirmed the news and condemned the U.S. action. While we welcome the fact that no additional tariffs were placed on Canada yesterday, the president's latest move will still reverberate across our economy. The tariffs that have already been imposed are unjustified, unwarranted, and in our judgment, misguided, said Carney. We stand in full solidarity with the workers of Windsor and across the country affected by these tariffs. Carney's administration announced the imposition of reciprocal 25% tariffs on U.S. vehicle imports as a countermeasure. He also revealed an $8 billion strategic response fund, pledging all tariff revenues would be channeled directly into supporting affected workers and reinforcing the auto sector. All of our tariffs will go to protect workers, Carney affirmed during his national address. Stellantis spokesperson Luann Gosselin indicated the shutdown was a strategic pause to assess the fallout from the U.S. tariffs. Operations are currently set to resume the week of April 21, but further adjustments may be required depending on the evolving trade conditions, she said. The shutdown scope underscores the economic and political tension in Canada's cross-border trade ties and adds urgency to the country's upcoming April 28 federal election. This economic flashpoint emerges amid broader debates over trade policy and national sovereignty. Critics argue that globalist approaches have exposed vital domestic industries to foreign political whims. Russell Kirk's 10 conservative principles, referenced in public discourse, stress the need for moral order, continuity, and prudent governance rooted in tradition. From this lens, many view the response not just as economic policy but as a defense of national identity and worker dignity. The Windsor plant shutdown has become a powerful symbol of the fragile balance between free trade and national resilience. Political observers suggest the issue could shape voter priorities in Ontario and beyond, as Canada navigates a shifting global order. The call to preserve local industries and uphold tradition against external pressures grows louder, echoing the belief that freedom and order are best preserved through rooted communities and enduring values.